I've been selling my product Vino cards on Amazon for 1 full year, and I want to share with you guys today what that year has looked like. I'm going to be completely honest with everything and everything that you should know about selling on Amazon. And I'm gonna break it down for you guys. So the first thing I'll talk about is numbers. I'm gonna share my revenue, my profit, all of the Amazon fees, everything financially that has gone into selling this product. I'm also gonna share with you guys my biggest mistakes. And there's been quite a bit that has been so costly to me. So if anything, this will help you guys avoid any mistakes if you're looking to sell on Amazon as well. I will share with you a bit about the process, so what it's like to actually launch the product on Amazon. And lastly, I will talk about the biggest things I've learned this year. So definitely stay tuned. There's gonna be a lot of information in this video, so let's just get into it. The first thing I'm gonna talk about is my income report. So in this last year, I made about $25,000 in revenue. Now that's revenue. It's not money that's going into my pocket. I reinvested that right back into this business because there are a lot of fees I have to account for. So the first cost is of course of the product. So to make the product, it was about $6,000. That included about 2,000 units that I'm working through right now. So $6,000 for the product. Then there's FBA selling fees, which means I do get charged for selling on the Amazon platform. That's around $5,000. FBA transaction fees, that's about $4,000. PPC, which is about $3,000. There are a lot of other random Amazon fees. For example, it does cost for me to store my product in their warehouses. So with all of those fees combined, it's about $1,400. So in the end, calculating all of these expenses, I made about $6,000 in profit, a little over $6,000. That's actually going into my pocket. So we went from $25,000 in revenue to a little over $6,000 profit. And to be honest, I was really shocked when I was looking over these numbers for this video. I mean, $25,000 in revenue, and with all of the expenses, all of just even selling on Amazon and how expensive it actually could be, $6,000 really is great considering that I had a full-time job the majority of this year. But I do want to push the product more because now I'm working on Vino cards full-time, and $6,000 is not enough to really sustain a life here in LA. So I did feel a bit disappointed with the overall result because I did feel like I put in a lot of work this year. So it's crazy the differences between revenue and profit. Like it's quite a bit to take in. So breaking it down has helped me figure out what I want to do with the business and how to improve that. So the next thing, and probably the most important part of this video, are the mistakes I made. And I'm going to go into detail what those mistakes have been. There have been quite a few. Mistake number 1, I ordered way too many boxes of Vino cards. I ordered a total of 2,000 units, and that did equal to about $5 per box, about $5 or $6, which was a pretty big difference if I had only ordered 1,000, which would have been about $7 to $8. So I thought it'd be better to just order 2,000 units and have them here with me, and I'll try to get through them. But it has been taking a whole year to sell all of these units, and I do wish I ordered less boxes because for my second biggest mistake, there were a lot of spelling errors and some things that I needed to change on the cards that I didn't catch before production. And even though I spent so much time reviewing every single card, doing the proofreading myself, sharing it with family and friends, and seeing that, just making sure that the product was just as perfect as can be, when I did get the final product, I did notice some mistakes I didn't catch before, and now I'm stuck with 2,000 of those mistakes. So I wish that I would have hired maybe someone to really spend the hours of reviewing every single card, maybe even hired a few people to look over everything. My third biggest mistake was spending money on air shipping. I spent a little over $1,000 to have quite a few boxes sent over air shipping with DHL. And the reason for that was just because I was running behind with production. There was some delays with the proofreading of the cards and the design, and so it really delayed the process of getting the boxes to me. And I did need to expedite some of those boxes because I needed to send them out to my backers from the Kickstarter I launched earlier that year. So it did cost me quite more than what I was expecting, and there is a huge difference between air shipping and sea shipping. So as I mentioned, air shipping was a little over $1,000, and my sea shipping was only about $700. So quite a huge difference expense and cost, and it's only because I didn't give myself enough time to really do everything over sea shipping. So try to get everything done early. Time frame is important because if you really need to rush things, sea shipping might not be the best option for you, but if you do have plenty of time and if you've given yourself that runway, then it's really great just to go with sea shipping, much cheaper. My fourth biggest mistake was not hiring a social media assistant earlier. I was only working about 3 to 4 hours a week on my business as I was at my full-time job, and I really could have used that extra help early on to really boost the sales after the holiday season. And I spent about the first 6 months just doing everything by myself, and it was a lot to tackle and I didn't have time to do it. And so once I did get around to hiring a virtual assistant to help me with all the social media, it completely changed the game. I was able to really push my Instagram. I was really able to share more photos and get influencers to share photos as well of the product, and it's made all the difference in the sales. So I really do wish I hired some help a little earlier, but I'm really grateful for my virtual assistant Ruby. She's been doing such a great job with all the social media platforms. So if you need a little extra help, a little boost in marketing, or just really someone to help you out throughout this whole process, I definitely recommend hiring a virtual assistant. So once your product is actually on Amazon, it's great, and Amazon takes care of all of my shipments and I don't have to really work on it too much. But I do also want to touch on all of the costs before actually launching on Amazon, because you have to get your product made. And I'm going to quickly go over some of those costs and really talk about the hustle that is required before actually putting your product on Amazon. So once I had the idea of Vino cards, I wanted to get friends and family and their friends and family to get excited about the product. And I created a product launch group. It was on Facebook. It's a group of about 1,000 or so people in there. And I shared my whole process through there. So any edits I was making, any design questions I had and wanted to see what people thought about, I would put it in the group, and it worked very well. I also set up a website for Vino cards and collected emails through there, just getting people excited about the product itself. So that was massive. So once they were in the group, I decided to also do a Kickstarter. And the reason this group was so important is because I let everyone know about the Kickstarter, my goal of $5,000 that I wanted to reach, and they were all excited about it. So they actually went to the Kickstarter and backed the project. They helped me reach over $5,000 in my Kickstarter goal. Once I had my group and once I had my crowdfunding money, I was ready to look into more of the legal business stuff. So the first thing is a DBA. That cost me about $150. I also wanted to get my product trademarked, which was about $250. And trademarking is really important because later on I was able to do brand registry on Amazon. And that basically creates a credibility, kind of authenticity of the product itself, making it really unique on the product page. I'm able to expand on the product description, add more photos to the Amazon page, and really just making the product a little more exciting, and hopefully people are more interested in buying it that way. I also had a lot of supplies to get, so sticker paper and boxes and stamps and all those little things. That was about $100 to $150 as well. And then there are costs associated with the manufacturing process of the product. So I needed to hire a designer to help me bring the cards to life, and that was about $2,000. But the $2,000, extremely worth it. We went back and forth through email communication with hundreds of iterations of the project, so very well spent money. I also needed to hire a sommelier because I do not have a wine background, but I wanted to make sure that the wine cards had the most accurate wine information possible. So I did hire a sommelier through Upwork, and that cost me about $100. There's also the cost of the air shipping and the sea shipping I mentioned a little earlier. And lastly, the actual cost of the product itself. So ordering those 2,000 units cost me about $11,000. So all of the legal business stuff, the cost of the product, manufacturing, design, everything has totaled to this amount, and that is how much it cost me to start the business. So as you can see, that is a lot of money upfront to make a product a reality. And my boyfriend Travis and I have both invested in this company together, and I want to make sure that we get that investment back. But most importantly, I want the product to stand the test of time. I want it to be something that everyone enjoys and for it to just be a success. And it takes a lot of energy and money to make that a reality. So I want to talk quickly about how I survived the year. My boyfriend Travis has been the greatest mentor and rock throughout this whole process. He has helped me financially and emotionally, most importantly, through this, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. I also had the support of a female founders group I put together. It is a group of some of my closest girlfriends who are also going through this Amazon journey with me, and I wouldn't be able to get through it without them. So they really helped me keep me afloat and were so open to hearing the struggles that I was going through, but for them to be able to do the same, we're just a big support group, and I couldn't have been more thankful for that. I also needed a place to keep my inventory, so my parents have been storing my product in their garage, and that really reduced some Amazon storage fees for me, and they of course have been such a great support. It's really just about having a great support system, finding people that are in your space, and just keeping those loved ones around you. It really makes all of the difference, especially during those tough times, and especially when you break down numbers like I have today and realize that there's a lot of cost associated with this, so it really helps just keep those loved ones around you. And the biggest takeaway I have, and probably the most important thing I've learned this year, is to structure your days and set yourself up for success. It's so important to really prioritize everything that you need to make your product successful on Amazon. Once it's on Amazon, it's wonderful because they take care of everything for you, but it's important to remember what to prioritize as far as marketing and pushing your sales, maybe pursuing wholesale and things like that. If you want to learn more about creating a product and what that process is like, and ultimately launching on Amazon, click the linked video. Travis and I condensed all of that information to one useful video. Click here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for checking in. I'll see you guys next week.